to this now. South Africa will always count on its formidable partnership and other partners in delivering a successful G20 summit. That's according to the Small Business Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, who's been representing the South African government at the Chinese New Year celebrations in Pretoria. The event is hosted by the Chinese Embassy. That's where we find Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News reporter, who is joining us now from the capital city. Khayelihle, let's talk about tonight. Of course, there's lots to look at, especially when you think about how geopolitically there are quite a number of developments. You think about what's taking place at WEF. You also think about some of the conflict that's currently taking place, the developments in the US as well. So certainly lots of focus, not only just on the Chinese New Year celebrations.
Well, certainly, Bonga, quite a very remarkable occasion here in Pretoria at the Chinese Embassy. So it's all about really celebrating quite a milestone, as you know that it is indeed a year of the wood snake. So there's quite a lot of expectations, especially in the context also of South Africa and China partnership, a very formidable ties, Bonga. We saw last year where President Cyril Ramaphosa attended the FOCAC, but also having a state visit once again in China, showing very strong relations between the two countries. But of course, like you just alluded, quite a lot in terms of the geopolitical developments. But joining us now is the Chinese ambassador here in South Africa, Mr. Wu Peng. So once again, sir, thank you so much for your time. Maybe first of all, tell us about the significance of the year, obviously the year of the wood snakes.
Thank you so much. Good evening, audience of SABC. I'm a Chinese ambassador to Republic of South Africa. Today in our embassy we held a reception celebrate Chinese Lunar New Year. Yes, as you said, this year is year of snake. But at the same time we have another nickname for the year, that is the year of little dragon. If you ask me what it represents, if I use just one word, it represents smart. I know South Africa will be host the G20 in the year 2025, or the year of Little Dragon. So I believe under President Ramaphosa's strong leadership, you will hold a very successful G20. China, as a member of G20, will support South Africa to make this big event very successful. And the South African people are very smart people. So I wish South African people very prosper and happy Chinese New Year. Thank you.
Lovely. And Ambassador, while we still have you, I mean, we look at the G20 coming here in South Africa, issues around solidarity, sustainability, and also equality, but also for Global South, where the issues of development for sub-Saharan Africa. We saw in Brazil last year, President Lula da Silva delivering quite a very important G20, a lot of issues in terms of poverty eradication. South Africa really looks for partners like China in terms of making sure that it really becomes successful.
We China and South Africa are strategic partner. Last year, under your president paid state visit to China, we evaluate our relationship position to all around the strategic cooperation partner in new era. So we have a very cordial relationship, and I know you already said the main themes of this year's G20. We Chinese government supported. Inclusive growth is very important to Global South. But for me, I think only through industrialization in Africa continent can be achieved the goal of sustainable and inclusive growth. So I represent our embassy will say to our South African friends, we support in all around the process, the procedure of industrialization. We are your partner. Thank you.
Before we let you go, Ambassador, a lot of developments. I mean, we've seen there's a new president in the US, or well, a second term, President Trump coming back. I think there's a bit of a jittery, in terms of what could happen, especially, with the looming tariffs. I mean, for China in particular, and as a very influential economy, as a very powerful economy, and as a partner to Africa, what's the feeling in Beijing with the developments in Washington, D.C.?
First of all, that is Americans' domestic issues. But I congratulate Mr. Donald Trump taking to inauguration 2 days ago. And our Chinese government also said Vice President Han Zheng represents special envoy of President Xi Jinping to go to Washington, D.C., attend the inauguration ceremony. Of course, you may know that we have some problem in the trade and the geopolitical issues, but I believe eventually our two nations must peacefully coexist and cooperate. The world needs China and the United States of America work together rather than conflict. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Of course, when you were really talking about very critical issues, of course, very powerful economies, China and the US, right here in South Africa, quite a very important time celebrating the Chinese New Year, but also reflecting on the significance between China and South Africa. These are very key partners. They're members of BRICS, FOCAC, and many other multilateral institutions as well. So with that, back to you in studio.
All right, Khayelihle Khumalo there, my colleague coming to us live from the capital.